Can you build a pressurized camp water system for under $30? Maybe. Should you? Maybe. I'll show you what I did and you can decide. So on my past couple of camping trips, I've been a little annoyed by my water system. It is raining, so there's a little noise on the roof of the garage, sorry. Now, you know, I do everything on a budget. And all I've been doing is carrying these jugs of water, which I refill. It's annoying having these things rolling around in the car. It's difficult to wash my hands or brush my teeth or anything where I might use flowing water. Washing dishes, rinsing stuff off. I'm a little over it, and it's time to move on. So for a couple of months I've been trying to think of some sort of do-it-yourself water system that would be budget friendly. And then I saw this video by Edward Shin. My original idea was to just make a simple gravity-fed system by putting the water container up on top of the car. What I realized is that 7 gallons of water weighs almost 60 pounds, and trying to heft that up onto the car is just asking for an injury. So my idea, instead of using a gravity-fed system, is to pressurize the water can by putting a valve stem on it so we can use the compressor to pressurize it. So the idea here basically is that I can have 7 gallons of water sitting here on the floor of the passenger seat, never have to touch it, never have to carry it, and the tubing goes underneath my sleeping platform back to the kitchen. Now it's not an original idea. I've seen plenty of people do it before on YouTube, so in theory it can work. Usually people use a high quality heavy duty jerry can and not a $15 Walmart special. Alright, I've got the hole drilled in the can, and so I'm going to try and get this valve stem in there. Hey Lucy,
Yeah,
see if you can get that to come out through that hole. Yes, excellent. While I push this rubber seal on there. Alright, there. It's getting on there. Get that down on there. This is what happens to wrenches in Western Oregon. From what I've read, this is a proprietary fitting that a standard pipe fitting isn't going to fit. This has 3/4 inch pipe threads here. This goes to 3/4 inch hose thread. But the reason I got this is because on the inside there is 1/2 inch pipe thread. So that's the only fitting I could find that had threads on the outside that will screw into the lid. Threads there so I can fit the outgoing hose, and threads there so I can make a fitting that goes down into the jug. Yeah, I'm not a plumber. if you can see that. It sort of cut its own threads in there. But this is sort of a soft vinyl. Even though I don't have any sealant in there, as it sort of cut its own way into the vinyl, and it's quite a ways in there. That may be enough to hold. I mean, that's not pretty, I'm not proud of that, but I don't think I was ever going to be proud of any of this. Because this fitting doesn't really fit into this lid, I was getting a little tiny bit of leakage right around this fitting. What I've since done is, and this isn't this isn't quality craftsmanship in any way, but I basically just oozed a bunch of pipe cement down into this joint. This is just regular old PVC cement, and the only reason I used it is because I had it and I didn't have to go buy something else. Obviously, none of those parts are PVC. This is some kind of vinyl, I think, and this is brass. But I just oozed a bunch of the cement down into this gap where I was getting leaking, and now it's not leaking. Pipe cement that's designed to withstand 70-80 psi, and I know we're not anywhere near that here. Snap this one up. It's funnier because I'm using the wrong tools, right? I'm just going to cut off a length of it to use down inside the jug. Okay, now we've got a way for the water to actually get out of the jug. So this has got the same kind of nipple on it for the tubing, but instead I've got 3/4 inch hose thread to go into this 3/4 inch hose thread fitting. And there's a rubber washer in there, but I don't know how much good that's going to do. I'm going to go ahead and tape these threads too. Alright, I got to think about it again. So tape needs to go that way. There we go. Here's our tubing that will go from the jug to the kitchen or wherever. Okay. Now it's all assembled, let's pressure test it. All right. Will this work? Oh, look at that! Are you kidding me? I was seriously 3/4 expecting that not to work. Alright, I'm close to calling that a success. Okay, I'll be the first to admit that's not the prettiest looking thing. But if it gets the job done. One last little detail to tend to here. When I bought this jug, I forgot that a few months ago, Journey West made a video about these jugs and the fact that they pop leaks from the bottom.
Show. There's this awful water container called an Aqua-Tainer. Oh. See that? Now we're gonna be in the middle of the desert and we're gonna die.
Get the duct tape. This is definitely the last time I buy an Aqua-Tainer.
I don't want a slow leak of 7 gallons of water in the floor of my car. So I'm going to do just a little bit of preventive maintenance to reinforce the bottom. We've got this roll of flex tape that's been floating around the house for a while without getting used for anything. And supposedly you can repair a boat with it. So I'm going to reinforce the corners with this stuff. Well, it's not going to be pretty, but that's better than a leak in the car. Alright, well, it's not pretty, but function over form, right? And the idea here is just to give those corners a little more strength. It's not to withhold any actual leak. Hopefully it's to prevent a leak from happening in the first place. Doesn't look super nice, but sitting down on the floor of the car, I guess it doesn't matter. And what's that saying? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure? Or an ounce of prevention is worth 60 pounds of water not leaking into my car. When I was camping with other people, and I would get up early in the morning and wanted to make coffee and needed water, but other people were still sleeping, I didn't want to run my compressor because that's a noisy little thing if you got someone sleeping in a tent 20 feet away. Is that what you were about to suggest? Yes, a bike pump does work and is nice and quiet. This tubing is the only thing at my home improvement store that they could assure me was drinking water safe. This is a little bit unwieldy, but the clear flexible stuff is not drinking water safe. So I went with this, and ultimately once this is installed in the car and this is fed underneath my sleeping platform, it doesn't matter. It's just before a trip that I have to deal with it, and then that's it. Ultimately, after having gone through all of this, I would not recommend that you build this yourself. There's just too many things that can go wrong. I've shown you what I've done because enough people expressed an interest in seeing it. And hopefully it can give you some ideas for making your own water system, maybe not as cheaply as possible, spend just a little bit more, and have something that's less likely to fail. We'll see how this one holds up.